It's Saturday morning, July 25th, 2020. I'm in Medicine Bow National Forest in southern Wyoming, and I am in love with this place. There are these dense coniferous forests, these snowy mountaintops laden with glacial deposits and white rocks. The elevations aren't as radical as they were in Colorado, but this landscape is no less dramatic. It feels more remote and wilder here with a bit more mystique. I already saw a jackalope, a leprechaun, a koala, and a baby deer, if that gives you any indication of what it's like. But last night we camped overlooking a lake that is only accessible via four-wheel drive track, and it was amazing. Really cool old cabin. I imagine one year it probably succumbed to a heavy winter snow, and that was that. There's not much left of it now. So I'm not alone this weekend. A little bit over a month ago I met someone and we've really been hitting it off. She's an amazing woman and we're out here camping together. She knows what I do, that I do this for a living and share my lifestyle online, and she's totally cool with it. But the fact of the matter is, this is new. I'm ecstatic, and I don't want to impose the camera upon us as we get to know each other. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because I think at times it might be evident that I'm not alone, and I didn't want to leave you wondering. Deadfall. This, what you see here, was all over the place today on the primitive tracks. And it got to the point where a lot of the trails were impassable in the Jeep, or anything wider than a side-by-side. Seriously though, the deadfall was really bad. It got to the point where we abandoned our trail because I was clearing trees and branches every, I don't know, it seemed like 5 minutes. So we left that area in search of another part of Medicine Bow National Forest where we could set up the camper for the night. And what we found is, of course, it's the weekend, but the forest is very crowded. All of the popular dispersed campsites were taken. So we ended up improvising, and we found a really nice flat spot to set up the camper along this very primitive forest road. We're not next to a lake tonight. There are no babbling brooks, just the solitude among the trees, and it's wonderful. This is a BLM track west of Medicine Bow, and it looks like we've reached a dead end. Beautiful landscape though. Gonna have to take another look at the map. now. Medicine bow. Passenger side rear is sunk pretty deep. I think that's going to be the biggest problem. It looks like I get to use the winch to get unstuck for the very first time. And the bummer about this is it was avoidable. I was crossing some mud without scouting it out first, and now the rear bumper is pinned in front of a rock. So even though I can't proceed forward, I can't proceed backward either. Alright, all set. The winch really came in handy, and we were out in a matter of minutes. But that's not where the adventure ended. See, we were already tired of driving and fatigued before the Jeep got stuck, so we were looking for a campsite and ready to settle in for the night. But I let my guard down, I got the Jeep stuck, we got the Jeep out, and then we continued north along a forest road, and it was overgrown. There was deadfall all over the place. I wasn't sure if we should cut our losses and backtrack or keep going. But since there was no place to turn around, we kept going. And we ended up here. I have no idea where here is. All I know is we're out of the trees. We have beautiful mountains over there, and it's just heavenly. But I am beat. With all the deadfall weaving in and out of it, I was really hard on the Jeep for the past few hours. We did a lot of sawing, and... Ow! I'm sitting on fire ants. I'm at the base of Medicine Bow Peak on Marie Lake, which is a stunning centerpiece for Medicine Bow National Forest in southern Wyoming. We're at about 10,500 feet in late July, and from what I've heard, there's snowfields up on this mountain year-round. This is the Snowy Range, and it's a paved road that I believe is open seasonally. But it is now 6 p.m. on Monday night, and I have yet to find a place to camp, so I need to do that now. This morning we left our campsite and tried to get out to the northwest, and all of the roads either terminated at too much deadfall or private property, so we ended up backtracking, which I desperately did not want to do. It was a 12-mile route one way, and between all the debris we had to negotiate and the mud holes, I felt like we were pushing our luck yesterday. And here this morning we were forced to go back and do the same thing all over again. And yes, I did get stuck again in the exact same spot that I got stuck yesterday and needed to winch again. Alright, it's Tuesday morning, July 28th, 8:20 a.m., and I'm already on the highway. This is a quick pit stop in Rawlins, Wyoming for some coffee. I'm making a big push west today. I'm going to keep driving toward Oregon until I'm tired and feel like it's time to track down a campsite. But I do need to download more base map data on Gaia GPS for Idaho and Oregon. So I'm using my phone as a cellular hotspot, and I'll just download the data as I'm driving. So tonight, when I need to go into the backcountry and find a campsite, I'll have a navigational resource. Getting stuck in the mud this past weekend. First I tried the Max Tracks, and that wasn't a silver bullet solution that got me right out of the mud. I believe if I didn't have the winch, I could have made the Max Tracks work. But in order to do that, I would have had to get under there and clear some of the mud out, and I really didn't want to do that. So that's why when the Max Tracks didn't work right off the bat, I went straight to the winch, because I didn't want to get any dirtier. Ideally, we would have put down the Max Tracks preemptively to bridge the soft terrain, and unfortunately we didn't have the foresight for that, but that would have absolutely worked. Yes, combo 4. It's both the taco and the crunch wrap, please.
Combo for them? Okay. And what's your drink going to be?
Baja Blast.
Go ahead and remove it. Thank you.
Thank you. Talking about new and different vehicles, the Jeep is still doing great, so I'm not ready to act on a different vehicle yet. I'm close to turning 160,000 miles very shortly, so I'm just kind of hanging in there and seeing where this goes, but still going strong, knock on wood. At the very top of my list for a new vehicle, and this is unobtainium because it's not being produced, the AEV Outpost 2. It's a Jeep conversion with a camper on the back, and the off-road capability and the overall form factor is perfect for me. I would move mountains to get into that vehicle or one just like it. I don't believe the AEV Outpost 2 is for sale, but AEV, if you're watching this, also very high on my list and probably a lot more realistic is a Sportsmobile Classic Ford Econoline with a 4x4 conversion. That's a 4x4 and off-road camper van that is mass-produced and has been around for years. It's a little bit costly, but it does strike a great balance between 4x4 capability and spacious creature comforts. It's 8 p.m. No, it's 7 p.m. Pacific time in Wallowa-Whitman National Forest in southeastern Oregon. I've been on the road for the better part of 10 hours today, I think, and I'm a bit fatigued. I still have to find a campsite, which shouldn't be a problem, but I am running out of daylight. I could camp right there, but there's cattle, and there was a creepy black van. I'm gonna go in deeper. Wow, this place is a bit of a gem. I hate that I'm passing through, but it really feels like a best kept secret. I could spend some time here. I lucked out. With the last remaining daylight, I found a great campsite next to a stream in Malheur National Forest. M-A-L-H-E-U-R. Not completely sure how to pronounce that. Unlike Medicine Bow in Wyoming and a lot of the national forests in Colorado, there is no one here right now in mid-July, and this forest seems absolutely pristine. Gaia GPS shows a ton of routes to explore around here, and this campsite is exquisite. I can't wait to show it to you in the morning when there's daylight. For now, I'm going to call it a night. I am beat, and I'm going to sleep like a rock. This campsite is exquisite. It is beautiful here. It's unspoiled. It's right off of a paved forest road that doesn't seem like it should be paved just because of how long and how deep it runs into the forest. Of course, I haven't been here for very long, but I haven't seen another soul. Just when I say I haven't seen another soul, a truck goes by. I've been in constant motion for a couple weeks, so I really wanted to settle in at a campsite for a couple nights, and this would be a perfect one for it. But I just got here and I'm boundlessly curious about this new landscape. So I'm gonna break camp and do a little bit more wandering. I was really wondering if this was a through road. I already encountered some impassable deadfall. Seeing a dirt bike is a good sign. Of course, a dirt bike is going to be able to maneuver around the deadfall a lot more easily than a big old Jeep. This is a long shot. If I can't move this fairly easily, I'm gonna bail. Of olive oil. Oops. Cook over medium heat. We are going to add sausages. We are going to add leftover mac and cheese from Firewater Public House in Saratoga. Some chimichurri, some hot sauce, some Parmesan. It looks good. (2:41 p.m. on Wednesday, and I actually found this campsite at closer to 11 a.m., which I think is a new record. But this is actually a free Forest Service campground, and I saw it marked with an icon in Gaia GPS. There's a pit toilet, and at the end of the trek there's a slightly more charming site with a picnic table, but it is taken. I'm not complaining because the spot I got is perfect. I'm very happy. There's good privacy at this campsite because you have to contend with this water crossing to get here. And it's a fairly long water crossing, but it's not too deep. It was below my knees when I walked across. There's a hiking trail that follows the river north and south out of camp. And it's absolutely beautiful. I'm trying to exercise off my very gluttonous lunch, and I'm sort of hoping that I find a swimming hole because late July, 5,000 feet, it is considerably warmer than it was in the high elevations in Colorado and Wyoming. This past weekend, the Jeep just started throwing a code and going into limp mode intermittently. P0365, and I did see that before, over a year ago when I had the auxiliary gas tank installed. That's the same thing that happened when the evap system got flooded, but it's not nearly as bad. I drove 10 hours yesterday with no issues, and it's easily reset. I don't know what prompted this to start happening again, but I made it over a year with no problems, so I'd bet any money it's that little white plastic sensor that's connected to the evap canister. It's not a big deal yet, and I don't think they're that expensive, so I might just swing by an auto parts store, pick it up, and swap it out myself. At the very least, rule it out as a problem. Thursday morning, and I'm waiting for the coffee shop to open in Prairie City. 7:30 a.m., early bird gets the worm. Even though I spent 2 short nights in Malheur National Forest, there is a ton to explore in the area. A lot of forest roads, a lot of great primitive campsites. Eastern Oregon in the vicinity of Prairie City and John Day is ripe for exploration. This is my treat to myself. I have no problem making coffee at camp, but after being in the backcountry for a couple nights, to come into town and just get a coffee, this is great. It's Thursday afternoon, July 30th, 2020, and I am currently in Untitled National Forest in Central Oregon. It has been a journey this week with quite a scenery change coming from southern Wyoming and now heading west in Oregon. The Jeep was an absolute trooper this week. MVPs are the come-up winch, which did its first really hard pull. That's not the one you saw, it was the one the day after. I was stuck in the same mud, but worse. Also, the Sunflare solar panel was grazed by so much deadfall that I don't know how it still works, but it still works brilliantly. I did mar the rear bumper and also dented the muffler on that rock. So there goes the Jeep's resale value. I'm totally kidding. But I'm going to call that a wrap for the week. My stay in Oregon is going to be very brief. I have an appointment for the Jeep here, and then next week I'm going to head back toward the vicinity of Montana. As usual, I hope you enjoyed this week's story. Thank you for following along, and I will catch up with you again next week.